Paris Roubaix, perhaps the most iconic classic bike race on the professional cycling calendar. I've been fascinated with it for years. The cobbles, the distance, the velodrome, the weather. This race has it all, and to watch it has been on the to-do list for years now. With an FKT attempt planned in northern Spain this May, I needed to log a big training block. And having wrapped up a couple of big weeks in my personal life, marriage, a dog, moving house, I had some spare time in my calendar to get some big training days in the bank. It also happens to be that my bike of choice is the Specialized Roubaix, an endurance monster as far as bikes go. So I thought, heck, I'm going to load up the bike, plan a route, and ride my Roubaix 1,250 kilometers north from my home base outside of Girona, through France, past Roubaix, and into Belgium to watch the big event. Last week I showed you my bike and kit setup. You can watch that somewhere here. And this week, I'm going to take you on the journey of the ride itself. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Bags packed and nerves high. They're always high before I hit the road. I set off early on Easter Friday to meet my mate Sam. Sam had a few days empty in his calendar before flying out to Brazil, so he planned to join me for the first 1.5 days. We met en route, grabbed a quick coffee and croissant, and continued north towards La Jonquera and the Spanish-French border. Wind blowing us north, the sensations were good. Big open meadows, flowers blooming. There were a couple of hiccups along the way, but all things considered, especially given my own luck, the weather treated us really well. Boys love a bit of road closure. Caught by the wind. Onwards. We forgot to take into account that not much would be open given the Easter Friday celebrations, so finding food was a challenge in itself. We found a bakery and stocked up on calories at the 160 kilometer mark before continuing on and into the afternoon. The weather began to turn as we neared our destination of Bedaru, but we got in just in time, stocked up at the Lidl, and hit the local kebab joint for a hero-sized serving of couscous before hitting the hay in preparation for day 2. What was scheduled to be the biggest day of the trip. Gonna go down a tree. We woke early to wind and drizzle, and after a hearty breakfast, mounted the bikes and pushed on into freezing temperatures and heavy rain as we climbed to higher elevations and into the ominous clouds. We're estimating ride time might be around the 10, 11 hour mark, depending on wind. So, yeah, big day. We're trying to just crack on, focus on the task at hand and get to that kebab shop. As we descended again, we were lucky to find the weather finding up and found ourselves enjoying amazing views as we traversed along the valley floor. Unfortunately, at the 85 kilometer mark, it was time for Sam to turn around and head back towards home. To be honest, I was a bit bummed. I'd enjoyed the camaraderie and the banter of the last 48 hours. But hey, that's just life, and I'm sure another opportunity awaits us. I cracked on into the afternoon, conscious that the clocks would go back an hour overnight as we enter the summer time zone. With 267 kilometers to complete and 4,200 meters of vert, I was going to need all the daylight hours I could get just to make it in before dark. These views are insane. So beautiful up here. I've got to be honest, I'm super glad it's not raining. Switchbacks, trees, mountains, small towns, beautiful. Having witnessed yet more amazing landscapes, spirits were high as I rolled into an amazing guest house for the night, and what was to be a solid but shorter night of sleep. Finally at the accommodation, that was one groupie day. The final berg up to this guest house was like 12%. I was carrying the bag of shopping and it was an absolute grind, and I'm so happy to be here because I'm so hungry. 4,300 meters on a vert, 250k. As I said, it was pretty grippy out there, so stoked to be here, end of day 2. I certainly felt the hour less sleep as my alarm sounded early on day 3. I'd hailed my breakfast and thanked my hosts before mounting my bike and continuing onwards. Day 3 was, on paper, looking to be an easier day, but this can sometimes be deceiving. It's looking like it could be wet again today, but hey, that's how it is. Downhill we go. Not figuratively speaking, I'm actually going downhill. At around 10:30 AM, some 3 hours into my ride, the morning sun disappeared and I found myself racing against a thunderstorm that was moving much quicker than I was. Enjoy this while it lasts. So I've just got the first drops of rain on me, and I don't know if you guys can see, but because I think I'm going to get wet. Pretty much in the thick of it now. No rain, but a whole lot of thunder and lightning going on around me. There's a bit of hail. That is not snow, it is ice. Might just bunker down here for a few minutes. Because it's pretty cold. Drenched by rain and battered by small hailstones, the spirits remained high and I found myself enjoying the battle against Mother Nature. Nothing makes you feel as small and insignificant as the brute force of a powerful storm. Thawing out, my stomach told me it was time to stop for something to eat. But again, I'd forgotten that A, it's Sunday and I'm in France, and B, it's Easter, and the likelihood of things being open was slim. Central France is interesting. There's lots of small towns, but these are often served by a bigger town nearby, which makes refueling on a bike, especially when your route is purposefully designed around small, quiet roads, really challenging. I was lucky I had enough food on me to get me through the 240 kilometers, but I was nervous about my dinner prospects and the refuel options for the following day. I made some quick changes to my finish location to take advantage of the ever-reliable McDonald's and made a quick stop off to stuff my emergency backpack full of burgers and fries, both for dinner that night and breakfast the following morning. I had hail today, I had sun today, I had rain, I had wind, I had a little bit of everything. But it was a good day. I got the alarm set for 6:50 AM, which means I should get 9 odd hours of sleep, which is epic. All right, I want to get some sleep. I probably look tired because I am tired. I'll chat to you tomorrow. Morning guys, beginning of day 4. I'm in my little cottage from last night. Actually quite a nice little setup. Small little granny flat at the back of someone's house. Just had a couple of bacon and cheese McMuffins, 2 cups of coffee, and I'm about to get ready and hit the road. I've got to be honest, I am feeling pretty beaten up today. A couple of days of riding in the wet has done that to me. And yeah, pair that with a couple of longer days in the wet. It's a bit of a recipe for feeling tired, so. Tired but loaded full of calories, day 4 was a real surprise. It's worth noting that when I planned my route, I just put in a start and finish location and I let my mapping software do the rest. This meant that each day was a complete surprise. Once I warmed up and found my rhythm, sensations were great. I followed 150 kilometers of canal bike path up towards Paris. As I neared closer to the city, traffic increased and I really had to focus on ensuring my own safety in the traffic and wet, slippery roads. The highlight of the day was arriving randomly at Chateau Fontainebleau. I asked an innocent bystander for an awkward photo and pushed on north. It's crazy how the landscape changes as you get closer to a major city, and it's crazy how an Aussie never fails to butcher a French word. A night in an Airbnb, I was excited for the final day and my arrival into Belgium. Ended up being a bomber day, day 4, one for the books. Started off shitty, finished off with sun. I'm now close to my Airbnb for the night, which is always a bit of a mystery. Don't know who I'm staying with, don't really know where I'm staying. But I've got a backpack full of goodies. Looking forward to a good night's rest and getting stuck into day 5, the final day into Belgium. Ew. Good morning from the roads of France, northern France now, getting close to Belgium. Although I've got to say it's not ideal because I washed my clothes last night. The lady I was staying with turned the heating off overnight and I was relying on that to dry my clothes. So I'm in wet clothes and it's 6 degrees and I'm trying to warm up and it's not happening yet, but that's all right. That didn't really matter though, as the rain started early and so I spent the day switching between being damp and mildly damp. That's northern France in April. Now, I've got to be honest, I thought Roubaix was in Belgium, so I was actually shocked to find out it was actually on the French side of the border. Either I was tired or I didn't take note in geography. Arriving on the red bike paths of Belgium after 4 days spent navigating the green bike paths of France was great, and I enjoyed the final kilometers into Kortrijk with sun and relatively blue skies. Bonjour! And just like that, I crossed from France into Belgium. And I'm actually surprised because it's not raining yet. Everyone tells me Belgium's wet. I reckon it's wetter in France. Absolute rubbish. Beautiful weather here in Belgium, a nice summer's day. Clouds are out. Whew, 6k to go and I'm done.
I made it. I'm not in Roubaix. I'm in Kortrijk. Because I made the fatal error of thinking Roubaix was in Belgium, when in fact Roubaix is in France. And I'm staying in Belgium. And so I did go past Roubaix, but I'm not in Roubaix. But I have finished my ride. Day 5 is a wrap. That brings me to the end of my journey. Although the next few days I'm going to be having a little bit of fun with some media aboard the Roubaix here in Belgium, on the cobbles, testing some bits and pieces, before going to Roubaix itself, the race in France, for the big event next Sunday. So there you go, there's my 5-day tour of France completely done. I am completely done. I'm knackered. If you didn't watch my first lap around France, that's another video, I'm going to link it above. That was back in 2021. This is my second, not a lap, but crossing of France, and it has been a whole lot more enjoyable than the first lap.
I'm now back in Spain, my bike is clean and I'm training again in preparation for my attack of the Camino de Santiago FKT. If there's 2 things this trip has highlighted, it's the benefit of the Roubaix SL8 on long rides. It's fast and agile and I don't feel as though I've been beat up having spent close to 50 hours on the bike across 5 days. Secondly, the simplistic nature of life on a bike bikepacking is so underrated. Life becomes simplified and the mental reset this afforded me was huge. Got questions about my trip or the setup? Hit me below. Thanks for tuning in guys, I'll see you next week.